I learn how to learn. I am knowledge.
This is our fourth discussion of the universal law called I am knowledge. It is one of 11 universal laws of the guiding principles of peace and unity. In our previous presentation about I am knowledge, we revealed that there are 9 types of intelligence, and we explained that using them to learn how to learn is critical for developing self-love, culture, economics, and civilization building. Before we discuss I am knowledge, let's put this talk into context. There are 3 areas critical to the success of the Black community in Africa and the African diaspora. They are culture, economics, and education. In this video series, we continue to examine issues and concepts related to education and the development of self-love, which those who care about the Black community may examine and consider. But culture is the foundation of self-love. But what is culture? The word culture comes from the word cultivate, which is related to the domestication and growth of plants. Culture is like a gardener who cultivates a young plant by tying it to a stand for support, putting it in a certain location, and watering it. The gardener does that to foster the growth of the plant, to become tall and strong, so it does not grow bent and crooked, so it does not become a weed. The gardener does this with labor, care, and study to ensure that her plants are the best. But culture is actually the way to cultivate and civilize human beings. This is done by first establishing universal laws and standards of behavior and tying them to those universal laws and standards of behavior for support. We call those universal laws the guiding principles of peace and unity. It is an ethical, moral framework that says, do good, do no harm to others. In fact, you were the guiding principles of peace and unity when you came to this earth as a baby born naked. Earth's trauma and miseducation has made you forget. Now you must find your way back. You must remember. The guiding principles of peace and unity will help you remember who and what you are. You can get a copy of the guiding principles of peace and unity and all the violations at our website, thegppu.org.
I meditate to relax in all situations. I am peace. I bring and keep together the families and communities who live in peace and unity with others. I am unity. I learn how to learn. I am knowledge. I create for myself, my family, and my community. I am power. I obey the laws of my family and community that are in harmony with peace and unity. I am law. I do no harm to my family, other families, or my community. I am protection. I choose the feelings, thoughts, and actions that are in harmony with the principles of peace and unity. I am control. I have fun and work with my family and my community. I am cooperation and harmony. I am careful about what I believe. I accept ideas and beliefs that are in harmony with these guiding principles. I am correct ideas and beliefs. With all my heart, I take care of my family, other families, and communities that are living according to the principles of peace and unity. I am devotion. I keep a clean body. I have clean habits. I eat healthy food. I exercise. I care for my environment and planet. I abuse no substance or drug. I am strength.
With these universal laws as a foundation, true culture will 1. Prepare you for life. 2. Foster your growth. 3. Improve you as a person and a community. 4. Help you solve problems. Today, under I Am Knowledge, we will continue to discuss the 2 roles education plays in developing a culture of self-love. But first, let's look at the universal law, I am knowledge. It says, simply, I learn how to learn. This represents one of the greatest powers you have in life, but is misunderstood. Many of us believe that intelligence and knowledge is having more information than others and being able to memorize and communicate that information. But that is only part of it. Another part is the ability to be quiet, listen, and receive instruction, knowing how to gather information when and where it's needed, receiving deep understanding from your practice and work in your field of endeavor. All of the guiding principles of peace and unity have their violations too. The violations of I am knowledge are educational disenfranchisement, educational repression, educational restriction, educational elitism, educational neglect, miseducation. The first role of education in developing a culture of self-love is teaching people, especially children, their history. There seems to be a great deal of debate about black children learning their current and ancient history. There's no real debate. It's ridiculous. You must learn your history, and you must teach it to your children. It is your responsibility as a parent and caregiver. It is critical if your children are to develop a culture of self-love. So let's go to the second role that education plays in developing a culture of self-love. Now that involves understanding the nature of intelligence, showing people their intelligences, and providing them with the opportunity to use those intelligences. But you say, well, what do you mean, intelligences? As a lifelong educator who has actually observed the learning of many children and adults, it is my view that the true reality of intelligence is represented by the theory of multiple intelligences. Now, the theory of multiple intelligences was first proposed in 1983 by Dr. Howard Gardner, a cognitive psychologist. The theory of multiple intelligence says that there are 9 types of intelligence. 1, verbal linguistic intelligence. 2, mathematical logical intelligence. 3, spatial visual intelligence. 4, musical rhythmic intelligence. 5, bodily kinesthetic intelligence. 6, interpersonal intelligence. 7, intrapersonal intelligence. 8, naturalistic intelligence. And 9, existential intelligences. Now, those who disagree with Gardner's theory complain that what he identified were talents, not intelligence. That shows that their views, they don't understand the complex cognitive and intellectual processes needed to create and cook a great recipe, or negotiate a win-win situation between 2 opposing parties, or choreograph an award-winning dance routine. They want to diminish those achievements by using the word talent. But talent and intelligence are the same. Now, these same detractors, Gardner's detractors, complain that there's no way to test his theory, like an IQ test, the famous IQ test. Those critics are also limited in their understanding of how intelligence can be identified. Intelligence is identified using the actual life work a person does every day and how well they excel at doing that life's work, not just through a written test. Now, Gardner was not an educator, but many well-known educational theorists agree with Gardner. Piaget, Bloom, Vygotsky, Skinner insisted that intelligence was actually developed by doing and through experience, by trial and error, through loss and reward, by doing the thing that you're trying to learn, building on what is learned, and mastering it in real life. We've already talked about verbal linguistic intelligence and mathematical dominance, and mathematical logical intelligence. Those are the types of intelligence that are focused on in the traditional educational system. We've also talked about spatial visual intelligence. We're going to focus today on the fourth of Gardner's 9 intelligences, musical rhythmic intelligence. Actually, what we're talking about is musical rhythmic dominance, because everybody has musical rhythmic intelligence. It's just that some of us have dominance or greater access and ease of use in musical rhythmic intelligence than other people. That is called dominance. And dominance simply means that our neuronal connections of our brain have strong and complex connections that make music and rhythmic more accessible to us. Connections between the brain's auditory cortex and superior temporal gyrus, prefrontal cortex, motor cortex, premotor cortex, cerebellum, basal ganglia, corpus callosum, limbic system, amygdala, and hippocampus. Traditional educational systems are so focused on primarily on verbal linguistic intelligence and mathematical logical intelligence, not on developing a musical rhythmic intelligence. Children who are musical, rhythmic, and dominant may be placed in special education programs or may be neglected and drop out of traditional education altogether. Such children are not considered intelligent by the traditional education system and may lose educational opportunities as a result. Think about people like Billie Holiday, Charlie Parker, Prince, Jay-Z. Their musical rhythmic dominance was not nurtured in a school. It should have been, but it was not. Despite that, on their own, they created successful careers and even helped develop whole industries. That is exactly why developing the 9 intelligences identified by Gardner can have powerful economic development opportunities and effects. Those who are musical, rhythmic dominant demonstrate strong sensitivity to pitch, meaning they notice notes and songs and when they're wrong. They have accurate singing at a young age. They're exceptional with rhythm and beat keeping. They're spontaneous with musical improvisation, meaning they make up songs and melodies. They have rapid learning and memorization of music. They have strong auditory memory. They remember melodies with just 1 or 2 hearings. They have intense interest in music and frequent voluntary engagement in music. They have precise timing and coordination during musical activities. They have the ability to distinguish between subtle differences in sounds, instruments, or harmonies. They're very emotionally responsive to music, well beyond their age. And they have the ability to reproduce melodies on an instrument by ear. So they have sustained concentration when doing musical tasks. And they have creativity, combining sounds, rhythms, and melodies. And they quickly acquire the use of instruments and techniques compared to their peers. So this is what you see when a child is musical rhythmic dominant. Of course, children can have dominance in more than one of the 9 intelligence areas. Don't get it confused. Don't start labeling children as just musical dominant and rhythmic dominant. That is not a reality. The true test is by observing your child's daily behavior. Does he or she display signs of music-rhythmic dominance? Now, I have a few suggestions for parents and caregivers to find out and to purposefully develop your children's musical rhythmic skills. My suggestions here are not just for music rhythmic dominant children. They are for all children. Strengthening the musical rhythmic skills of every child is critical to that child's development of the other 8 intelligences. So, starting before and after birth, yes, before birth, sing to and with that child every day. Play a wide variety of music from different styles and cultures. Clap, tap, march, and dance to a steady beat. Use call and response games. You clap, cling, sing, and let the child imitate you. Encourage the child to make up songs, rhythms, and lyrics. Provide simple instruments like drums and shakers, pots and pans, stuff around the house to play with. Ask the child to identify instruments, patterns, or changes in music. Encourage singing from memory rather than just listening to recordings. Expose the child to live music performances, if you can. Participate in group music activities, choirs, or ensembles. Make music a part of the daily routine. Clean up songs, bedtime songs, travel songs. Let the child experiment freely without emphasizing any correctness. If the interest persists, begin age-appropriate music lessons with a skilled teacher. There is additional information about musical rhythmic learning and resources in the description of this video. Do good, do no harm.